My name is Jim Cook. I'm the owner of Community Development on Call, and we're a consulting firm to small rural communities in Northern California. We help them with water and wastewater projects. Principally, we also do other community development and some economic development projects. And we're at the community of Newell right now in Northern California, just short of the Oregon border. The community of Newell grew up on the old Japanese internment camp. The name of that Japanese internment camp was the Tule Lake Japanese internment camp. It was originally constructed as a internment camp for about 150,000 Japanese. Now, since that time, most of those buildings are gone, but the infrastructure has remained. And that's what we've had to deal with, is this infrastructure that was put into place right after the start of World War II in a big hurry by young Marines. And they put it together so that they could have some place for the Japanese. And that's the system that this community has grown up around now, and they have to utilize. So what was happening was, as the system grew older and older, the quality of the pipes was not quite as good as we use today. They were eventually rotting away. The pipes were just rotting in the ground. We had water that was going out. The community was losing about 60% of all the water they pumped. But even more important was that all these leaks, if the water pressure decreased even slightly, it allowed water from the outside to come back in. So they were having bad water tests, and frankly, you wouldn't want to drink the water because this was coming in from the outside. We now know that lead leaches, and it's not good to have in your drinking water. And we were afraid, as we realized what we were digging up, that, oh my gosh, we had probably been having lead in the water just from leaching from those kind of things. Now, admittedly, it was 50, 60 years old. Maybe all the loose lead had leached out, but it was still a very bad system. They needed around $3 million to replace this water system, cut off the old portions. As you might guess, an infrastructure for 150,000 people is quite a bit more than it takes for the 2,000 or 3,000 people that live there now. The tank behind me is the tank for the system. It's 100,000 gallons. There originally were two tanks up here, a small one that was probably about 25,000 gallons, which we ended up pushing over, and somebody's got it out on their farm now for agricultural use. It just simply wasn't working anymore. And then we had this other tank that's about a 100,000 gallon tank, and we thought, great, we're gonna have two tanks. Well, once we got the new clean tank up and running and serving the community, we drained the old tank and then found there was lining problems. And it looks to us like there'd been a large flap of lining that had come loose, and we don't know for how long it had been flapping out there. It could have asbestos. We're afraid it might have even had lead. We don't know, and we're not using that tank until it gets renovated. This community now has become a community of mostly farm workers. It's one of the lowest income communities in the state. Most everyone is either a seasonal farm worker or a retired seasonal farm worker. And they do understand pipes, and they've been able to do an awful lot themselves. They simply needed help. And that's the help that they got from the Earwimp group and through that the various props that were able to do it, and then also through a state program called the Community Development Block Grant. We installed 5.7 miles worth of pipe, and that's where most of the funds went. What we found when we dug it up was just, well, you take a bowl of spaghetti, and sometimes when we dug it up, that's what it looked like. There were pipes going everywhere, pipes we couldn't identify, pipes that had water in them that seemed to go no place. We found spots where we don't think there was any pipe at all. It was just the iron bacteria holding the water pressure together. So it was a bad system, and this was a great project to take care of it. Now these people have perfect water. They don't even have to chlorinate their water right now because it's groundwater, it's clean, and they do regular testing on it just like everyone else does their testing in their water systems. But right now they don't even have to chlorinate, it's that good. Now they don't have to bring bottled water. They did bring bottled water in for years, decades, because they were afraid of this water that they were using. Well, now they're no longer afraid. They can turn on the tap and they get good water. So once again, it's just a success story.